In the house?
Faculty
That
holding
was
down
good. That
for
was
it.
good.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you for being here.
All right. Well, are we ready? Is everyone returning? Oh, hey you. How you doing, girl? Shit, I see you. You can't sneak in here. Well, now it's time for the health platforms portion of the evening. All right. So first up, we have Matthew, and he will be giving us information on Stevens-Johnson syndrome. So everyone, just give a quick warm welcome to Matthew.
Hey everyone, I'm Matthew. So today I'm going to be talking to you about Stevens-Johnson syndrome and 10. Stevens-Johnson syndrome, also called SJS, and 10 is called toxic epidural necrolysis. These might sound like familiar words we've heard occasionally throughout the curriculum whenever just discussing a few drugs. But it was only recently I discovered the magnitude of these unrelenting conditions. So when I chose SJS and 10 initially, I was met with confused stares from all my friends. And I just want to give you all a better picture of why I chose it. So if you could bear with me, could you all just close your eyes for a second? So I know it might be cruel, but try to imagine yourself as a teenager again. And I'm talking junior high, the awkward part of childhood. So try to picture yourself, you go to the doctor's office for a mild infection. You go with your parents, you pick up antibiotics from the pharmacy. Now, you begin taking this medication as your parents and the pharmacist told you to. You start to feel better. Now imagine that you start to develop red blisters over your entire body. Before long, your fever is uncontrollable. You can barely breathe. As you close your eyes just to find some kind of relief from the worst headache of your life, the next moment you can remember is just being rushed to the emergency room. There's tubes running all around you. You hear the doctor say something about the burn unit, and you realize your skin is literally sloughing off of your body. Okay, you can all open your eyes again. Thank you. And if this was my patient, and I dispensed this medication, I know that I would feel responsible. And even though this reaction wasn't a result of negligence on my part, being that last person to make contact with the patient, being the healthcare professional that they relied on, they trusted to make better, those things would fill me with overwhelming guilt. And so now, I'm sure you can all understand why I chose this as my platform today. I was just really touched by these rare but severe conditions. Medications are the major cause of SJS and 10. And while it's true that these disorders are extremely rare, 10 occurring only in 0.4 to 1.2 cases per million persons per year, and SJS a little bit more frequently at 1 to 6 cases per million persons per year, it's still easy to visualize how having SJS or 10 could cause a person to lose trust completely in the healthcare system. So I'm just hoping that raising awareness for this platform today could encourage medical professionals to keep an open mind in the community, to just gather family history more thoroughly, keep an open mind to pharmacogenomics, and also it's just essential for pharmacists and practitioners to be aware of the common culprits of SJS and 10, such as sulfonamides, penicillins, NSAIDs, and allopurinol. I anticipate the day we reach an era when SJS and 10 are unheard of in the world. Thank you. God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
That's good.
Up next, we have Andrew Rubio, and he will talk about cancer in children, specifically with focus on adrenocortical carcinoma. Andrew, thank you.
Howdy. We can each think of someone who has been personally affected by some form of healthcare. Whether it's you personally or a loved one, we can relate to how much pain it can cause. Adrenocortical carcinoma, although rare, is the most common form of adrenal cancer. It affects typically about 200 people per year. The cancer typically forms within the outer layer of the cortex, and the adrenal glands lie on top of the kidneys. Tumors are usually discovered when they grow to a larger size and begin to cause pain or feeling of fullness, resulting in weight loss. These tumors may also produce excess hormones that can cause weight gain, excess facial hair, or early puberty. Adrenocortical carcinoma was what Kelsey had. Kelsey was my best friend when I was in high school and was always very loving and supportive of anyone who crossed her path. She was a brilliant trumpet player and was constantly surrounded by trumpet-playing boys. You could say that we were all her big brothers who constantly bullied her, but if anyone else tried to, they would have to answer to all of us. And she knew that she could come to us for everything, and she took that to her advantage. When we found out that she had cancer, we were all very shocked, and some of us were too young to understand, so we refused to believe that we would lose her. I went off to college, and although she began to show promising signs, there was a point of rapid decline. And when Kelsey was ready for departure, she reminded her mother not to be angry with God, and that she was ready to join him. Kelsey was so selfless and so full of love, and it was very painful to see her go. And I want you to think of someone who makes you feel warm, someone who makes you feel protected, someone who makes you happy, and someone who makes you just feel okay. And I want you to take that feeling and hold it close to your heart. And just imagine losing that feeling. And that's the feeling that I felt when I lost Kelsey. But that's the thing about pain. It demands to be felt. I didn't always want to be a pharmacist, and to be honest, I didn't always know what a pharmacist did. I just knew I wanted to become involved with cancer, and I did just that. I began volunteering and helping with fundraising, and in my involvement, I discovered what a pharmacist did in oncology healthcare team. I saw a compassionate, dedicated person, a mentor, and a great friend. I began having thoughts of applying to pharmacy school, and now I couldn't be happier where I am. My goal of coming to pharmacy school still remains the same. My goal is to find a cure for cancer, or at least improve the quality of life. And people don't usually talk about how good it feels to be of service, and it selfishly really makes you feel really good. And it's great for your ego. And we should tell more people that nothing is too big, and there is no problem too small. I know a cure is coming, and I want to be involved in every step of the way there. Until then, I know that we will continue to be affected personally by cancer. And as I age, I realize that I don't know very much, and all I have is the present moment. And I want to continue to be around the people that do things, people that dream, and people who support. And I like to think that I am around those people. We don't get to choose if we get hurt in this world, but we do have some say in what hurts us, and I like my choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. That was great. Up next, we have Dax Gaspar, who will be discussing provider status and interdisciplinary health. Welcome, Dax.
There we go. Okay. How is everyone doing tonight? Doing well? Awesome. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about provider status. So not a lot of people know what that is, and to be quite honest, as a P1, I felt like I should know what it was, but everyone just kept talking about it, and I really had no idea what it was. So let me give you a really quick definition. Pharmacists and pharmacist patient care services are not included in key sections of the Social Security Act, which determines eligibility for healthcare programs such as Medicare Part B. In this case, for Medicare Part B, the omission of pharmacists as listed as providers limits Medicare beneficiaries' access to pharmacist services in the outpatient setting. Long story short, we're kind of not considered part of the healthcare team, if you will. Provider status efforts seek to recognize pharmacists as integral members of the healthcare team and provide consumers with access to coverage for our quality patient care and services. Now, why is this important? Well, all of us are P1s, 2s, 3s, faculty, parents of pharmacy students, and this is our future that we're talking about. If we don't advocate for our profession, we're going to have people make choices for us, and that's not something that I would like to be a part of. So I want all of us to have a voice voice. I want all of us to speak out for our jobs, for our futures, and for our well-being. Pharmacists have comprehensive and unique education and training in the use of medications for treatment, management, and prevention of disease to contribute to the healthcare team. All of this stems back to, improper use of healthcare improper use of medication. Let me just drop some stats really quick. Annually, over 1.5 million preventable medication-related events occurs, and the healthcare system incurs nearly $290 billion annually in most avoidable costs to treat adverse events from inappropriate medication use. Now, this is something that we as pharmacists can do to curb and to help. Medication non-adherence alone results in over 100 billion each year in excess hospitalizations. That's a lot of money, that's a lot of time, and that's also a lot of manpower that we're wasting and losing. So what can we as students and what can we as the general public do to advocate? Well, get involved. Write letters to your legislators. Get to know your local and your state government officials. And as far as students goes, get involved in all of your organizations. I'm representing TCSP, all of the ones that you guys have, like APHA, SNPhA, Phi Delta Chi, Kappa Epsilon, and any other ones that I'm forgetting right now. Just get involved, and I know all of you guys have efforts towards advocacy. And the reason why this is important to me is because, well, it's my future, and it's also yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dax. Up next, we have Elijah Martin, and he'll be talking about opiate abuse. Elijah Martin, take it.
Hi. So an issue that I think is very important and relevant for our profession as pharmacists is the issue of opiate abuse and just prescription drug abuse in general. It's a problem that is obvious to anyone who's ever worked in a retail setting for more than a few hours, honestly. And it was actually a root of a lot of cynicism for me when I first started working. This issue is important to me not only because I've seen it, because I've seen the effects in retail pharmacy settings on the other side of the counter, but I've also seen the effects firsthand. I had a friend in high school who got hooked on prescription drugs, and at that point I started volunteering to help lead a Bible study at local rehab centers in my hometown. Now, something that was really interesting to me, when I went there were a lot of people who were alcoholics or who got started on illicit drugs, and they were there trying to recover. But there was one guy in particular that I talked to who had never touched a drop of alcohol in his life, had never had any issues with substance abuse in the past. And he went in to go get a dental surgery, and he was prescribed a narcotic just to deal with the pain from that procedure. And by the time he was through with his regimen, he was hooked on it. And at that point, he started acquiring it illegally, buying off the streets, and then he ended up in rehab. So that was just really hard for me to see. And what I realized there is that the scariest part about drug abuse is that it can happen to anyone. Addiction can happen to anyone, especially with these things that we prescribe or the doctors prescribe that we dispense. A lot of patients will think they're safe because a doctor or a pharmacist handed it to them, when in truth, some drugs that we dispense are just as addicting as drugs that are legal. And so I just think it's very important for people to understand that. And this is an issue that is not going unnoticed anymore. It actually is getting a lot of attention in the government recently. I don't know if any of you guys also get the ASHP emails every day. It's a newsletter every single day. Yeah, Teresa, yeah, you get them. And so every other day that I look at that email that's talking about things that are happening in the pharmacy world, one of the top 2 headlines is something related to opiate abuse. Some of the more recent ones. In early March, the Senate passed a bipartisan bill to try to combat opiate abuse and heroin abuse. The CDC recently released new guidelines urging doctors that are overprescribing these to try less addicting options first. And just a few days ago, the president even announced a plan to allocate funds to help the states combat opiate abuse. And the main way that this is going to be carried out is by making a drug that is actually used to help people wean off of this more available. So, in short, addiction is a terrible condition that many people can fall into, and as pharmacists, we are on the front lines to help people recover from this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. Last up, we have Victor Encarnacion, who will be talking about depression and mental health. Victor.
Hi everyone. Like you just mentioned, my name is Victor Encarnacion. I'm a P1, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about mental health and depression. So within my time here in pharmacy school, a lot of our professors have really stressed the concern with chronic illnesses and chronic medications, and or the medications used to treat them, and how much it's costing us altogether. And so I think that one chronic illness that really goes overlooked are those related to mental health, and specifically depression. So that's why I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today. And why does this matter to me? Well, I have personally now been diagnosed with depression. I have had a significant run through with my family, my parents, my siblings, and so I've been affected by it growing up and a little bit into my adulthood. So it's pretty important to me. So what is depression in the first place? Depression is a mental health disorder that can affect the way that you feel, that you think, and the way that you interpret your surroundings. Think about this number. Approximately 26% of Americans aged 18 years or older have been diagnosed with a diagnosable mental disorder. That's a huge amount of people. It's incredible to me. And so it's no surprise that arthritis as a chronic illness and depression as a mental health illness are the two leading causes of disability within the United States. And so it's really, really prevalent. And the fact is that depression does not really distinguish, or it's not specific to any population, any age group. It could happen to anybody. And so this is a serious issue that we are facing as healthcare professionals. So there's some problems that are obviously aligned with depression itself, and it's especially problematic because it's found associated with many other chronic diseases. So when we're talking about cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer, it's often found that depression is linked together with these other illnesses. And so that's only adding to time and money that professionals are going to have to spend. Not only that, just the patient themselves, right? These people are experiencing these accumulations of problems, and these are something that we need to be facing. Like other chronic diseases, depression is costly, and in 2006, it cost the American healthcare system $57.5 billion in order to treat, and that includes therapy and medications. Think about that number. As of now, depression makes up 8% of mental illness observed in the workplace, and unfortunately, 71% of these people never sought help from a professional regarding their symptoms. And so not only is it something that we see that's prevalent, people don't know very much about it, and they don't go out to go and to seek this help. And so what are some possible solutions for an issue like this? Remember that depression is like any other chronic illness, right? We focus on these chronic illnesses and think of them as treating them at the root, right? Preventative care. And that is especially important for students and other professionals who are in a high stress setting, right? So I think that moving forward, and even Kazim here used this as his platform earlier this year, but we're moving, and a lot of other programs and a lot of other organizations are moving to making sure that we are providing people with the resources that they need to be able to treat these diseases, and also to provide them with the help that they need moving forward to make sure that they don't get out of control. So in conclusion, recognizing the prevalence of depression and other mental health illnesses is going to be essential for us as healthcare providers to be able to provide support to our patients, and also keeping in mind that as we expand our resources to our employees in the future and our students if we ever become teachers, or just to each other, right? Making sure that these resources are available to others, that's definitely going to be our best bet in terms of treating these things before we see them becoming a serious issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all our contestants for addressing all these important topics in the healthcare. And that was really good.
There's a lot of emotion behind each speaker's
Yeah.
presentation.
So now on to the last part of the show. We will have all the contestants come on stage, and they'll pick a random question from a little envelope we have, and they'll just talk about it. So just impromptu, right? Nice. Where are our contestants?
All right. Who's first?
First up, we have Matthew.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Okay.
How's it going, Matthew? Go ahead and step up to this
Come to
red X right
Red
here.
dot.
We're on the spot. Get it?
Is there treasure here?
Here's the treasure. You gotta go searching for it. Pick a good one. They're all about me.
Oh, I got two.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Oh, this one, yeah. So take you have roughly a minute or more. Expound on it.
Wait, how much time do I have?
More than a minute. You got it? Did you read it? You got it?
I read it. I was
Okay.
thinking about it.
So for you guys, what do you consider your number one quality that will bring you successful in the future, and why?
So, to answer this question, you really have to ask yourself, how do you define success? And specifically, how do you define success in the career of pharmacy, this profession? And when I think about pharmacy, I think about the patients. I think about what I can do for the community and how I can impact them. And in order to, measure your qualities, I'd have to say that you'd have to really have a heart for people. You'd have to have a heart for the sick. And you'd have to be really willing to serve. And so, I guess that's my, don't want to say that, it sounds like I'm saying your quality is like so vague. I guess it's compassion. You definitely have to have compassion for every patient you meet. And I think that's really the biggest thing. And I think that, just caring for every patient you see the same way with, all your effort, all your heart, and all your knowledge. Just think, if this was someone so close to me, what kind of care do they deserve? And you give every patient that. You give them a smile and just impact their lives in a positive way. All right, thank you guys.
Welcome. That was good. I'm pretty sure he used that on his interview to get into UT. I'm pretty sure he did.
That was smooth.
All right, next we have Andrew.
Andrew,
Pick one.
just for you.
He's like an MMI.
It's about to get real. What is the most important thing you're striving to accomplish for your future? Andrew.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing I wish to accomplish is to inspire. So I've been inspired a lot and motivated to do what I'm doing today, and I want to pass on exactly what I've been given. I want to be there for others as a mentor, as a friend, as a compassionate and dedicated person that can truly be an inspiration to someone else who doesn't know what they want to do with their lives. So, in the end, inspiration and world peace.
All right, up next, Dax.
That's me. Let's see. Get a good one. They're all good though, so that means good. It's a Powerball numbers. Oh.
All right, choose one. Okay. So his question is, if you had to define your mission in life, what will it be?
So, it's kind of a really big question, but I have a pretty simple answer for it. And My mission in life is just happiness in general. It's happiness for myself, but not only just for me, but for all the people that I hope to encounter in the near future as a healthcare professional, as a future family man, or just as a friend. And I think being in a place like this, in a school with so many awesome students and faculty, I'm getting there. I'm really happy where I'm at, and I hope some of that rubs off on all of you. But that's it. Just be happy. Thank you.